everybody, it's Maria here from Pepperly Rose Paper Crafting. Thank you so much for joining me. Today I'm going to feature another card using the Snowfront stamp set. This stamp set has been blowing me away with the possibilities. When I first got it, I didn't really look at it 100% well, but I did envisage things that are other than just snow and forest type scenes. So last night, just bear with me for 1 second, I forgot to bring the card. Where is it? There it is. Last night I did this card, which is a spring themed cherry blossom card with Japan in mind, like Mount Fuji. And I've seen countless of images online that are very similar to this. So I did this video last night. I can link it below. Sorry about the quality of the sound of that video. I had filmed it really late in the evening, and by the time I went to narrate it, it was really late and I didn't want to wake up the kids, so it was a little bit lower, and then in the background you can hear the fan going off from the computer. So I apologise for the sound quality of that, but I hope you did enjoy the process of that video. And I used the birch background stamp with that, and it just turned out really lovely. I love the way this turned out. So I got inspired to make an autumn or fall themed card with the Snowfront. So I'll be using the Snowfront stamp set today. I'm also going to use the Subtle Dynamic, well, it's not Subtle Dynamic anymore, it's just the Subtle 3D folder. This is from Sizzix. The newer ones now that Stampin' Up will be sending out to you from now on are from the Stampin' Up new vendors. So the big shot platforms are a little bit different. But if you use the Sizzix one, you will use it the way I do. And of course the rectangle stitched dies, these are great. So I'll be using these again. So to start off with, I am going to show you what I'm using. So I'm using a old olive card base. This is different dimensions here, so I'll let you know now. It's 8 1/4 inches by 5 1/2, and then I scored it at 4 1/4. Okay, so that's the new dimensions of this, because I'm making the card so that the rectangle stitched dies all layer together. So I'm just going to burnish that score line. I'm using very vanilla cardstock, and then I've got a very vanilla piece that fits on the inside of the card. Okay, and then I've got pumpkin pie, and I've got also some crushed curry. With these cards and this one here, I'm going to cut them out using my rectangle stitch dies. So I'm going to use, I'll go from the largest to the smallest. So this one will lay out nicely over the top of that one. So that will be one layer. So I'll just get out some painter's tape and just secure all of the dies. So that's one. That's the largest one. Then I'm going to go down, and I'm going to use the next one down for the crushed curry layer. So they're just going to nest nicely. And I'll just grab, see, I've got a whole heap of old painter's tape here. And once they lose their tack, I'll just get rid of it. Okay, that's just to keep it in place. And then for my very vanilla stamping piece, I'll use the next one down. And I'm going to run these through the big shot. So I'll bring that up. I'm using my thin die adapter there, my regular platform. So I'll just do one at a time. add them with the old olive, and it looks just beautiful. All right, so this is a lot more layers than I would usually put, but I couldn't help myself. I just had this vision for this card and I had to do it. It's not very often that I get, just going to take off all the tape. It's not very often I get inspiration to make cards like this. So when I have it in my head, I like to do it immediately so that I don't lose the thoughts, because sometimes I get great ideas and then I forget to write them down, or I don't act on them and then I forget. And then it's such a waste. So yeah, so with this layer over here, we're going to do some stamping. So I'm going to bring out my craft sheet just to protect my work surface, and it makes inking and everything so much easier. So I'll explain everything as we go along. It really isn't hard, so we'll go for it. All right. Now, to start off with, I'm going to use that mountain image. And for that, I am going to use Early Espresso. So I'll just bring that up. I'm just going to use beautiful warm colours today. So it's very similar to this card, but only it will be autumn themed. All right, so I'm just going to now stamp my mountain right there in the middle. So I've just double mounted my block. Okay, that turned out fantastic. So that's that done. Then with this image here, I'm going to use crumb cake. I'm going to stamp off and stamp that on like that. Then with that same stamp, I'm going to get some old olive. I'm going to stamp off, and then I'm going to turn this around, no, this way, and just go like that. All right, wipe that off. Okay, then I'm going to stamp these big trees right there and right there. So with those, I'm going to stamp them in Early Espresso again. So it's just a matter of layering your colours the way you wish. So I'm just going to go a little bit to the side here, and then on this side as well. Okay. Now in the background, on the there, in the sky, I'm going to make a sky, and I'm going to use my makeup brushes. So I'm just going to bring out some balmy blue, and I'm going to bring my smaller makeup brush, and I'm just going to not exactly like do the whole thing, but so that it looks like there's a bit of clouds. If you can see that, it was really, really simple. And, oh yeah, I need to use my microfiber cloth because I like to clean between layers of ink. Right, so that's done. And then I'm going to get the smaller trees. And I'm going to stamp those. Take off these because I don't need them, let them dry. I'm going to put them on here. Actually, I'll put them down. I find that easier to do that. Okay, for those, I'm going to stamp off and just go in the distance like that. Stamp off and go again like that. And then again. All right. So it kind of looks like a forest, if you can see. And I'm going to clean that all off my sheet. Clean that off, done. And then I'm going to grab my old olive and my makeup brush. I'm going to tap off, because that's quite inky, and I'm just going to do like a bit of green. Just like that. Okay, this is really simple, but just lots of colours to be layered on top of each other. So this will be the fun part. I'm just going to clean my cloth, and you're going to see me go berserk with this little guy here. This little guy is also snowflakes, and I'm making them into leaves. So, you know, the sky's the limit with what combinations you want to use. So the colours I'm using for the leaves are Old Olive, Cajun Craze, Pumpkin Pie, Crushed Curry, and Merry Merlot. Just a nice warm palette, and it looks lovely. So I'm going to start off with the lightest colour, and I'm going to use Crushed Curry. That is my beautiful colour, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a sentiment down just in the middle here. I'm going to make it into a banner. So just bear with me for 1 second and I shall be back. Decided to put a little sentiment in the middle of this card there, and I'm going to bring out the Hoot Hoot Hooray, and I'm going to use the Always Here For You sentiment off that. And as I've explained before, I have done some stamp surgery on my stamps where I have cut the sentiment apart from the image. So if you want to make your stamps more versatile, you can just grab a pair of scissors and you can do that. So I'm going to now stamp this Always Here For You, and I'm just going to bring a block. It's a little big, but it doesn't matter. And I'm just going to line this up down the bottom here so I know it's kind of straight. Okay, so that's it there. So I'm going to grab my early espresso ink, and I'm going to ink her up. And I'll just stamp that in the middle. Not quite, so I'll do it again. And okay, so that's Always Here For You. Close that up, clean off the stamp. And with all of these layers, I am going to put them through this subtle 3D embossing folder. So I'm just going to grab that, and I'm going to put all these 3 layers through this folder. I love this folder. So I like to have that texture run through. So you just need the Big Shot platform with 1 cutting pad. And I'll grab my embossing folder and I'll run that up and down. And I'll show you that texture. Where is it? Wow, it looks spectacular with that texture. Just love it. Now I'm going to run, I'll see actually, hang on. I'll layer it all up and I'll see if it actually needs it. Because I might just make it, oh, I think I'll leave it on its own. Just that one, yep. So just run the one, but if you want to run all of your layers, you can. I'm just going to use just the image. I think that's good enough. All right. So I'll just grab some glue and I'll just glue down these 2 panels. Beautiful autumn colours. And with this, I'm going to pop this there. I'm going to cut okay, I'm going to cut this and this, and then I'm going to put in a small banner on the edge. So I'll just do that corner to corner, corner to the middle. So I'll just go in the middle, small cut like that, and then I go from edge diagonally to the middle there and do the same over there. And I'm going to pop that just like that. So I'm going to also, I've got some linen thread. Just trying to make up my mind how I'm going to use this thread. Kind of gets lost in that, so what I'll do is I will just stick this on. And layer it up in the middle. Just gorgeous. Okay, and with the Always Here For You, I'm going to pop that up on some dimensionals. And I'm thinking of the linen thread to go there in a little bow. So I'll just get some dimensionals to go on the back of that. So I'm just going to put 3. 1, 2, and 3. And I'm going to take them off. I'm going to put that right in the middle. Okay, that looks really cool. And with some linen thread here, I'm just going to tie a bow. So I'm just going to do 2 bunny ears. Go through the front and then underneath the loop and then pull. Just fiddling with the bow. And I'll just trim off. And with that, I'll just put the bow right over there. And I'll just add some glue. I didn't bring out my glue dots, so I'll just use that over there like that. And that will stay on once it's dried. And that is my finished card. And on the inside, I will layer, I'll stamp a little tree, I think, down the bottom there. So let's decorate the inside as well. So I'll bring back my craft sheet. And I'll let you look at the card over there whilst I'm doing that. Lots of colours with that one today. But, you know, these little dots can also be snowflakes, as simple as snowflakes, and one colour. So just wipe this down, make sure I got rid of all of the colour off it. This is stained, but it doesn't come off onto your project. So it's really good. So that's the inside of the card now done. So I'm going to then layer it in here. So just put some glue. Oops. And that is my finished card for today. This is a scene very similar to this one, but I have changed up. I put more layers. I've changed the colours to make it look like autumn. So you can do the same or different, whatever you want, but I hope this has given you inspiration. That's the inside of the card there. I quite like both of these cards, both different, and you can change up, you know, the same stamp set to look very different for different things. So I'm quite pleased with the Snowfront stamp set. I hope you like this. This stamp set will be available on the 4th of September, so I'm sure this will be a very popular stamp set, as was the waterfront stamp set too. So you can even combine those two stamp sets together. I'm loving this textured embossing subtle embossing folder. The Hoot Hoot Hooray as well. This is a great stamp set as well, which I'm sure you'll enjoy too. And the rectangle stitch framelit dies. These are all available in my online store at pepperlyrose.stampinup.net, except for the Snowfront. That will be available on the 4th of September. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all again next time. Bye for now.